I state your name. Do solemnly swear.
They swear to protect and serve. But I've uncovered a dark truth.
And he said, no, you're not arrested. Are you ready to be tag teamed by 2 cops?
They're hurting me! This is abuse!
On average, a serving US police officer is arrested for a sex crime every 35 hours.
Both officers pleaded not guilty to nearly 50 charges.
I'm meeting the young women speaking out with claims of sexual assault.
How many officers were there in total? About like 20.
And the teenage girl taking on America's largest police force.
Ooh, I need a second.
I was already feeling vulnerable and not being able to do anything.
They acted like they've done this plenty of times before, and that's what's the most disgusting part.
Who's believed when it's their word against the police?
We don't tell on each other. It's called the blue wall of silence.
I'm a cop fucker. That's what I go through every single day.
In 2017, an 18-year-old went public with allegations that shook the country. Anna Chambers polarized opinion and seemed to draw attention to an underreported problem: police sex crime. For 2 years, she turned down many interview offers. But after months of contact, she's finally ready to speak to me. Okay. So I finally come to meet Anna. She's playing handball with some friends in the park. Born in Russia, her family migrated to New York when she was a young child. She was brought up in this working-class neighborhood near Coney Island. The park where the alleged attack happened is just around the corner. Anna offers to take me.
It's crazy. It's like such a beautiful place, and like you just ruined my whole like perspective of somewhere I grew up and like enjoyed being, you know. So we literally got pulled over right there, literally right there.
This brings back a lot of memories.
Mm-hmm.
It was September 2017. Anna says she had come to the park to hang out with friends.
So I was driving down this road, and once I got a little closer to like over there, I seen that there was a van parked there, a black car. It was all tinted. So I looked at the person that was next to me, and I was like, those are detectives. Like, that even looks like a detective car driving in here right now.
Does it? Is that what they look like?
That's what they look like, just like that. So I went past them, and they put their car on, they put their lights on, they pulled over next to me, came up to the car. I was just staring like straight ahead, and I was like fixing my bra, and he's like, are you stashing something in your chest? And I was like, no, officer, like I'm fixing my nipple ring, it's stuck to my bra. And he's like, so show me then. So I looked at my friends, and I was like, to make sure they heard that, I was like, to show you then? Okay. That's right away, right then and there, like I already knew something was up. Yeah. The white guy came up to the car. He's like, before I go search the car, do you want to tell me what's in there? So I was like, all right, I have a ½ ounce of weed and I have 2 Klonopins. He goes, all right, put your hands behind your back. So I looked at my boys, I was like, what do you mean put my hands behind my back? I'm not gonna say names, but one of the people I was with, he had a bunch of drugs. They let him go. That was another strike. I already knew something was wrong there. So I get in the car, the white guy puts me in the middle. He goes, tell your friends not to follow us.
Anna's friends were sent away, leaving her alone with the 2 men. They were not dressed in uniform. At this point, everything changed.
I was like, can you just make my handcuffs looser? So the white guy came in the back, and he's like, I'm gonna do it right now. So he took my hands, and he unclenched the handcuffs, and then he just squeezed them mad hard. So I looked at him and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Like what the fuck is wrong with you? And he just grabbed my scalp and he's like, shut the fuck up. And he just put my head down. Whew, I need a second.
It's okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
Take your time, take your
one
time.
second. Yeah, so he just put my scalp.
Take your time.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
It's crazy, yo. He put my head to his dick and just started making me blow him. And he's like, are you on your period? And I was like, yeah, I wasn't on my period though. And yeah, he just put me on top of him and took his dick out and just like shoved it inside of me. Like shoved it. And I was just screaming. And you know, like when a female doesn't want to like have sex, like you're like mad tight and dry. I felt so violated and I was just screaming. And the black officer was just like driving and he was just looking in the mirror, like just watching it all happen. Like it was nothing. Like they've done this, like they acted like they've done this plenty of times before. And that's what's the most disgusting part. And then he took me off of him and he came on himself. And then he goes, now you're gonna do the same thing to my partner. And I was like, what the fuck? And they pulled over, they switched. And then the black guy, he didn't do that, but he made me give him oral sex. And then they dropped me off right down the block in front of Blink, right down the block from the precinct, gave me back their stuff, told me to keep my fucking mouth shut, and they just sped off. And they just left me there. It's, wow.
You okay? Do you want to take a minute?
Yeah, yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Let me get you some water.
Yeah, please.
After borrowing a phone from a passerby, Anna's friends picked her up. Back home, her dad sent her to hospital to do a rape test. A nurse alerted the police.
I was there for about 8 hours. All the different cops that came in to question me, and then internal affairs came to question me at like 5:40 in the morning. And they were just asking me questions and laughing at me like, oh, how do you know they were real cops? Oh, are you sure you're not just tied?
Later that evening, DNA was discovered on Anna's body. A DNA test confirmed a positive match with the semen of NYPD detectives Richard Hall and Eddie Martins. Did they admit that they'd had sex with you right from the off, or did they deny it initially?
They admitted that it happened, but they said that it was consensual. So they never denied the fact that something happened, but they're trying to say that I offered it, which never fucking happened. For a fucking ticket, for me to sit in jail for 3 hours, that's how people look at it. That's what people say. Oh, you offered to do that so you wouldn't go to jail. What the fuck?
Who says that?
Everybody. Everybody. People I was friends with.
The NYPD say the officers were put on desk duty while an investigation was launched. But after 2 weeks, no arrests had been made. Meanwhile, Anna had started her own campaign on Twitter. And it was quickly picked up by the press. Were you nervous when you decided to go public?
Yeah, of course. Nobody fucks with the cops here. Nobody likes the cops. Social media is the only way that you'll be heard. That's how I knew I would be able to get my story out. If it wasn't for that, like, we wouldn't be nowhere. I'd probably still not be in court. Like, they tried to drag this so long, so many court dates that I've been to, and all for this. Like, I was 18 at the time, like, it fucked me up. I have to grow up with that, you know?
As with many rape allegations, what happened inside that police van comes down to one word against another. But the detective's defense was surprising.
I can't understand how those officers are allowed to claim that that sex was consensual.
Anna's case exposed a little-known gap in the law. It seemed to spark surprise and heated national debate.
The case of a woman who says she was raped in the back of a police van is drawing attention to an apparent loophole in some state laws that may allow police to escape sexual assault charges by claiming sex acts were consensual.
it emerged that New York state law explicitly banned sex between correction workers and prisoners, but didn't specify about police. And at the time Anna went public, a similar loophole existed in 35 US states. I start following up on news reports to see if I can reach anyone else who's been affected.
Was she arrested by the officer before being sexually assaulted? Was he on duty? Yes, I have come across him, yeah. Has he admitted to the sex but says it was consensual? I'm finding women who've been sexually assaulted being further assaulted by police officers. You know, women who've been in car accidents being sexually assaulted by police officers. You know, women who've called 911 for help and have been sexually assaulted by the police officer who's turned up to help them.
One case in particular catches my attention.
And found another case with a woman in Chicago. She says that she was raped by 2 police officers after a night out drinking.
It seems to have striking similarities to Anna Chambers. 2 on-duty police officers and a DNA match. The young woman involved agrees to talk to us on the condition we don't reveal her identity. She asks us to call her Megan. Megan was brought up in the Chicago suburbs. She was 22 and living in the city when the incident happened. It was 2011. Megan was on her way home from a friend's house late at night.
And I was upset. I had been drinking with him, so I was drinking that night. And I was crying and I was drinking. And I remember I saw a police car and I saw that an officer waved to me. So I went over to the car and they told me that they were going to drive me home, that it was okay. And then I went to go get in the back of the squad car and he said, "No, you're not arrested, so you have to sit in the front of the car."
Okay.
And then I remember one of the officers touching me. And I kind of knew at that point when he did that I was kind of trapped. They clearly knew that I had been drinking. And while one of the officers went into a liquor store, the other made me perform oral sex on him. And then they drove me home and they put my hands behind my back because there were people outside and they're like, "You're gonna have to look like you're getting arrested." And they brought me upstairs. I do remember one of them breathing on my neck and saying, "Are you ready to be tag teamed by 2 cops?" And the next thing I remember is I woke up and one of them was inside of me and my only reaction was to panic. And I started knocking on the wall behind me and screaming. And at that point, also kind of fuzzy, I just remember them running and my neighbors coming out of their doors. And then they immediately called the police and I just knew that it's not who I wanted them to call.
Chicago patrol officers Paul Clavijo and Juan Vasquez were arrested and charged with criminal sexual assault. After Megan's report, it emerged another woman had also alleged she'd been sexually assaulted by Clavijo when he was on duty 2 weeks earlier.
If they hadn't called the police and they had just run away and nobody had heard me, I would have never said anything.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
It's the perfect opportunity because, the police are the ones in charge. Who would believe a drunk 22-year-old girl?
The officers claimed they played strip poker with Megan in her flat and called upon the same legal argument that the NYPD officers are using against Anna Chambers.
How do you feel that then trying to argue consent?
I think it's disgusting. People online would post stuff about the trashy drunk girl that got fucked by the police and now is crying rape. And I think that's one of the worst parts.
The investigation went on for 3 years. The evidence revealed Megan had a blood alcohol concentration of 0.38% that night. Levels higher than 0.4% can cause sudden death. Eventually, the officers were offered a plea deal. They accepted 1 count of official misconduct in exchange for 2 years probation and dropping the sexual assault charges. Some press headlines focused on Megan's drunken state and the money she received in a settlement. Like Megan, Anna Chambers' behaviour has also been under the media spotlight. Her confident social media presence has been a focus of debate throughout her trial. She's been posting a lot of provocative photos, she's been uploading videos of her smoking weed.
Bitch. You know how we rockin'.
And these images have been used as evidence right from the start. A month after the alleged assault, no arrests have been made. That's when a story broke in a newspaper. The officer's lawyers had written to the district attorney trying to question Anna's credibility. They pointed to her provocative social media photos and said her behaviour was unprecedented for a depressed victim of rape. Meanwhile, public support for Anna was growing online, and even in the streets.
No more policing! No more rape! No more policing! No more rape!
2 weeks later, Hall and Martins were charged on multiple counts, including first-degree rape and kidnapping. If convicted, they could face up to 25 years in jail. The legal loophole about consent is just one part of the problem. Anna's case seems to be part of a growing movement of people speaking out about cases of police sexual assault. I found a hashtag that's gaining some traction on social media, and it's Cops2. It's a reference to the Me Too movement. And it feels like there's people really trying to use social media in order to start a conversation around this and raise awareness. I mean, looking through it, the last post was 3 hours ago, talking about a Tennessee police officer who was charged with trying to have sex with a child. Why is nobody talking about this? I would have given anything to hear this after being raped. All I heard was it was my fault. Hashtag Cops2. Smear campaign continues. They get people to lie, threaten, scam. You become a prisoner in your own home. It seems the pace of new reports popping up is relentless. But I want to know how widespread these cases really are across the US. I'm traveling to Bowling Green State University, Ohio, to meet a former police officer and lawyer. Professor Phil Stinson claims to be the only criminologist in the US collecting data on police sexual misconduct. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, it's Ellie from the BBC.
Ellie, good to meet you. Come on in.
Thank you very much. So, what's this? This you and your police officer?
That is a photograph of me from the late 1980s when I was a police officer in New Hampshire. I worked up there for several years after I graduated from college and before I went to law school, and it was a really interesting experience. So we can head down to my research lab. It's in the same building that we're in here.
14 years ago, he started logging cases of police misconduct. He was so struck by what he discovered, he carried on. Now every time there's a news report about the arrest of a police officer, his team add it to the statistics.
And every time there's a hit on one of those Google alerts, we get an email with a link to a news article.
Hi, I'm Ellie. Nice to meet you guys. Phil offers to show me on a map how far police sexual misconduct has spread across the US.
Out of all the 50 states, the only state where in this 10-year period we did not have an officer arrested for a sex-related crime, it's just one, and that's the state of Maine up in the Northeast.
Phil's research has found 2,200 cases over 10 years. How often would you see one of these cases on a sort of weekly basis?
Every week. Just this morning, actually. You know, it's interesting. I think people think when they read a story in their local newspaper or they hear about it on the evening news on television that these are rare instances. They have no idea the scope of the problem. And think about it, what I capture in my research is just the tip of the iceberg. It's those officers who were not only caught, but actually formally charged with a crime. So I have to assume that the problem is much, much larger. And many victims are actually absolutely terrified of reporting their crime. Who do you call if you've been sexually assaulted or raped by a police officer? My research has shown about half of the victims are under the age of 18. Many of them are children. And the most common age we see in terms of being victimized by an officer who's committed a sex crime, it's 14-year-olds, followed by 15-year-olds. And it's very, very troubling.
It's striking to hear Phil's findings about the age of victims. I'm traveling to meet someone who can tell me more about this. She lives in California, where the age of consent is 18. And where it's already illegal for an officer to have sex with someone under arrest. Her case seems to bring the problem of police sex crime to a new level. In 2016, more than a dozen Oakland police officers were investigated for sexual misconduct involving an underage girl. Jasmine is now 21. She offers to take me to the corner where she used to work. It's right here, yeah?
Yes.
And how old were you when you started working?
I was 12.
12?
Yeah.
And how did that end up happening?
The brother of a friend, he molested me. And afterwards, he handed me some money. And I just put it, oh, wow, if I let men do these things to me, I get something out of it.
After this, Jasmine started working on the streets. She says she first started sleeping with police officers from the age of 14. Word soon got round. How many officers were there in total?
About like 20.
20.
Yeah. A lot of sexting, a lot of, oh, like I heard this from this officer. So they would talk about me amongst each other. I heard you were good at this. You know, it sucks because instead of helping me or giving me the resources that they're supposed to give you for help, they took advantage of it.
Would they have known that you had been doing it since you were 12?
I told them, yeah.
Did any of them ever come when they were on duty?
Yes. One, he worked the night shift, and I live near a church with a big parking lot, kind of. So he would come pick me up in his patrol car, and we would go to that church parking lot in the dark and like under a bush. They really made me feel like they were my friends, like they were doing me favors, like telling me I would get more business on this corner, or, you know, to stay inside because they would be doing an undercover sting that night.
Did nobody ever tell a superior, try and put a stop to it?
No. It wasn't just rookies either. It was sergeants, captains, lieutenants, like a frat house, this police department. That's the type of mentality they have.
How did it all come to light?
An officer committed suicide, and he left a note detailing our relationship. Yeah.
After a complex investigation, 12 officers were disciplined, and 4 were convicted of sexual and professional misconduct. Jasmine received a settlement, which led to much public debate. What kind of stuff did people say?
They'd call me fat, ugly, I was a whore, slut. Oh, she's just in it for the money, or she did this on purpose. My little 17-year-old brain planned this whole thing out. And knowing, too, that a whole police force hates you, it makes me a little nervous sometimes.
Really? Relationships between cops and sex workers are sometimes glamorized in fiction. But Jasmine's story paints a very different picture. I can't believe it took a suicide note for the prolonged grooming of an underage girl to come to light. And this isn't just 1 or 2 officers, this is multiple officers working together from the same force to sexually exploit an underage girl. I want to understand more about the kind of group mentality that could lead to corruption on this scale. Through my research, I found a whistleblower who can help me. Larry?
Yes.
Hey, I'm Ellie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Larry Smith served with the Baltimore police for 18 years. He spent 3 years in internal affairs, investigating fellow officers. He feels his life might be in danger from speaking out.
Well, you're safer in the car than you are in the street.
This is the first time he'll talk on camera.
Can we make this work?
Perfect.
When I went into internal affairs, part of it was I was just tired of actually being out on the street. But I also thought that going to internal affairs, I could help, get rid of cops who were committing misconduct. I mean, I saw cops do things that were wrong, and I never spoke up about it because, a cop speaking out against other cops can be very dangerous. It's called the blue wall of silence. And that's, it's exactly what it is. It's an unwritten rule that we don't tell on each other.
How would you be treated as a snitch?
You run the risk of being sort of exiled. They may vandalize your car, your home. You may receive physical threats. I thought in internal affairs it would be much easier because the complaints would come to me and then I would investigate the complaints. And I wasn't snitching on anybody. I was investigating a complaint. We had cops who had 20 or 30 complaints against them for brutality, for stealing, for planting evidence, and nothing ever happened to them. And they're not afraid. They're not afraid of internal affairs.
Did you ever see any sexual misconduct when you were working as a police officer or in internal affairs?
I can recall complaints where sex workers were coerced into performing a sex act on an officer to avoid going to jail. There were some sex workers who complained that officers harassed them. There were cases where sex workers were sexually assaulted, raped, robbed, and officers and detectives wouldn't take their complaints seriously or would threaten them with jail.
How are the police viewed here in America?
As heroes. And I think it really took off after 9/11, where cops and firefighters were viewed as, these civil servants who ran and threw themselves into the middle of danger. There's a real culture surrounding policing outside of doing their jobs.
And how does that feel?
Just the visual aspect of being a police officer, the uniform, the badge, the gun, you start to see how people react to you. And I think depending on what type of person you are, that could be something that is easily, can easily go to your head, and it can be easily abused too.
Meeting Larry made me question whether public opinion on the police in the US is becoming more divisive. It seems to many they're either villains or heroes. I've come across a case which highlights how opinions about police behavior can quickly escalate online.
Get in the car, please!
In 2017, what started as a normal shift escalated into a media storm. I've come to Burlington, which is a small city in Vermont, and this time I've managed to get hold of the officer who was accused, and he's agreed to speak to me. Hi, Sergeant Wynn. It's Ellie from BBC. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Nice
How are you
to meet
doing?
I'm good, thank you. Sergeant Wynn was on night patrol when he came across a car of young women who'd passed out.
So this is me walking up to the car. The car's right there. As you can see, it's on. The light's on. You can see that. We got 3 young females in the car. There's people inside the car, and they're not moving. But she was able to, wake up, which is good. Smell the odor of marijuana coming from the car. She's completely, she's been drinking, okay? She's completely out. I was concerned about the fact that maybe they were driving drunk or they were driving drugged, because they could crash and kill themselves or hurt other people, which eventually led to the search of the vehicle. Yeah, that's a really big bong right here.
Yeah, I just bought that, so you can't take it. Sorry.
And I said, no, you cannot have it back. And that's when it escalated.
Since when are bongs illegal? Find
Sit
some
down, please.
evidence that a bong is illegal.
Sit down,
and
please.
come back to me.
You can buy a bong from a bong shop down the
I'm just asking you to please sit down.
Ooh, what happens if I run?
We try our best to try to calm her down, but she tried to run away, do cartwheel, jump on top of the trash can. She would make suicidal statements.
I have the right to stand up. I have the right to put my fucking leg up. I have the right to sit on this goddamn trash can. I have the right to do whatever the fuck I want. Who's gonna stop
You are acting disorderly right now.
Wanna know why? Because
Okay.
I'm pissed off because you're wasting our time.
Listen. She would grab my partner.
Aggressively like
Don't
that.
grab him.
Oh!
We don't know if she have a weapon or not. Do not walk towards him.
Oh, what? You think I'm gonna attack him? Ooh, you think I'm gonna run?
She took an alcohol bottle and smashed it on the ground. She threw it.
I bet I could run
the bottle.
far away.
I was very patient with her the whole time, and at that point we had to do something. At that point we decided to take her into custody. And
I've seen the full body cam, and it appears the officers were patient for over an hour before this point.
started yelling, screaming.
Stop resisting, please! Stop! Don't kick me! Oh my God! She just kicked me. You're gonna break my arm.
She kicked me numerous times, in the leg, in the shin, and the groin.
Stop resisting! Stop resisting, please!
She was yelling for help that, we were abusing her.
Please! They're hurting me!
When we got to the vehicle, she would refuse to get in.
You are not gonna tell me I'm under arrest.
You are under arrest.
You were under arrest for disorderly conduct and assaulting a police officer.
Assault? You guys assaulted me!
You kicked me!
You grabbed my arms! I can't move!
Yeah, watching this again brings back bad memories.
Really?
Yeah.
Stop! This is abuse!
Get in the car!
I haven't done anything!
Come in!
I haven't done anything! No!
Get in the car, please! Get in the car! Please!
No!
Get in the car!
I haven't done...
Get in the car, please!
He grabbed my boobs!
I did not grab you.
Do you deny touching her breast?
I did not. The whole entire time, myself and Officer Lipper there, we were holding onto her arms, and we didn't strike her, punch her, hit her, or anything like that. We just simply used our hands to hold her.
And some people might argue that you and your partner were heavy-handed in your arrest. What would you say to that?
I say absolutely not. I mean, she actively assaulted me the whole time, and all I did is hold her hand, hold her arm, try to walk her to the car.
The next day, the 18-year-old Logan shared a Facebook post criticising the officer's arrest methods and saying she would consider this sexual assault.
People were calling the office of the chief, the mayor, stuff like that, to try to figure out what's going on. And I believe the media was on top of it already too. And at that point, it had been shared, I believe, several hundred times already. There was comments made and all that. Of course, my wife became very scared, and she called me and talked to me about it. So,
what happened next? How did things pan out?
I explained to the chief what happened. We also sent copies of the video over to our state's attorney. So once she reviewed the footage, she was confident that we did nothing wrong. The way that I feel is that had it not been for this camera, things may end up a lot differently. I mean, would they believe her? Would they believe me? Even though I did nothing wrong, people immediately jump to defend her, say the police are bad and all that.
Do you think it's also fair to say there are some police officers that abuse their position?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what job you do, what profession you're in, there are good people and there are bad. But like I said, I truly believe that 99.9% of us go out there and do the right thing.
I'm going to try and reach Logan, the girl who wrote the post. I want to know her version of events. time in New York. Today, Anna Chambers will come face to face with the police officers she's accused.
On September 15, 2017, Eddie Martins and Richard Hall of the NYPD kidnapped and raped Anna Chambers.
In court, the defense team tried to discredit Anna's allegations and again use her promiscuous social media photos as evidence. They also question inconsistencies in her statement about the route the officers drove her on the night.
Trying to shame her, they're trying to smear her, they're making up stories just to shame and attack her. She was in the back of the van. She was being brutally raped by these two savages. And she's not supposed to know where she is. You know, we want justice here. We can't wait for the trial. We can't wait for the truth to come out.
Don't let them rattle you.
I'm trying. It's just,
Don't let them rattle you.
It's disgusting what they're doing.
The trial date is set for 2 months' time. After weeks of trying to pin her down, I've managed to reach Logan, the 18-year-old behind the Facebook post about Sergeant Nguyen.
I did not grab you.
She tells me she's very nervous. Logan. Hi, I'm Ellie. Hi, nice to meet you. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. It's cold here. What was the trigger? Had a bong that had been confiscated or something? Can you talk me through like what happened?
So they took a bong and my weed, and normally I wouldn't think it was that big of a deal, but at the time I was homeless, so I was like, you know, that was like my sanity.
Do you feel like you were sexually assaulted?
Like, I guess in a way, like just being, like unwanted touching, you know? Like I get it, I'm being arrested, but he could have pushed me by my shoulders, you know? Like I just felt like vulnerable and not being able to do anything. It felt intentional at the time, but like thinking back to it, like he was just trying to do his job and get me in the car, so.
Mm-hmm. Did you expect it to blow up when you posted it?
No. I see people ranting on Facebook about crazy stuff all the time. Usually it's just nothing, but basically people were saying like I was trying to say that I was raped by a cop. And so that was just like a big jump, not what I was trying to express at all. And the video, it was really edited too, so it made me look like a crazy person, honestly, it really did.
There's a possibility that Sergeant Nguyen could have been sacked, he could have been charged. What would you have done if that was the case?
Well, if that was the case, I would obviously just express exactly what did happen, and I'd say, like, yes, I was fighting back, and he pushed me this way, and I should have chosen different words, or not posted at all, obviously, but... Well, I wasn't, like... I don't know, I give up on this interview, I don't know.
At this point, Logan walks out. She says she's very upset by the incident and the hate mail she received afterwards. She was also facing mental health issues at the time. After a break, she comes back.
I guess, like, just the whole situation, I wish it hadn't happened.
A lot of people have turned against Anna Chambers, for example, and have said that she is lying. I just wondered, what you think about that.
Well, I definitely believe her. Like, I don't think any young woman would want to put themselves out there and say that, like, make an accusation like that if they're lying, because that's not the type of attention anyone really wants,
Some headlines and online comments jumped on Logan's story. calling it a false claim. Although research estimates that false allegations make up just 2 to 10% of all reports, is there a danger that these are the cases that stick most in people's minds?
She didn't expect her post to blow up in the way that it did, but some people would argue that it make it even more difficult than it already is for victims to stand up and be believed.
Less than 3% of sexual assault reports in the US lead to a conviction. It seems many cases come down to the word of the victim versus the accused. So does it make a difference when the accused is a cop?
A lot of times the victims, when they are strong enough to come forward and make a report, they simply aren't believed. They're found to be untrustworthy, and the officer doesn't get charged with any sort of crime. They don't even get disciplined quite often. We have one officer in our database who was arrested 9 times before he was finally fired.
Why do you think those victims wouldn't be believed?
Well, quite oftentimes the victims have something about them that's just making them not a good witness, not a person to be believed. They may be on the fringes of society. They might be someone with drug addiction problems, sex workers, or women who work in as dancers in gentlemen's clubs.
Do you think these officers, are they going after women who are in vulnerable situations because they know how the system works and they won't be believed?
Yes, absolutely. It's really very troubling.
In Anna's case, there's been a huge focus on her social media and the fact that she's working in a strip club and the fact that she uploads some provocative photos. Does that make her less of a victim?
No, not at all. I don't know that there's an appropriate way to react as a victim. If the facts are anything other than a stereotypical violent predator jumping out of the bushes and sexually assaulting a woman, the criminal justice system has great difficulties in dealing with that. And they don't understand that the victims don't come in a stereotypical nice, neat package. People come from many walks of life.
Is it common to see behaviors change in victims after a sexual assault?
There's actually research that shows that victims of rape and sexual assault really exhibit a lot of the manifestations of post-traumatic stress. They have trouble remembering things. They may be inconsistent with their statements about various events and various locations and the way things happen.
It was really interesting to hear Phil talk about the trends that he's noticed in both victims and the cases that he's looked at. And when he described the kind of women that he often sees as victims of these crimes, it made me think of Anna and the other girls that I've spoken to. "18 months after the alleged assault, there's a major development in Anna Chambers' case. In March 2019, the rape charges against Hall and Martins are dropped. The district attorney says Anna made a series of false, misleading, and inconsistent statements. These include what she was wearing on the night, where the men drove her in the van, and the fact she lied under oath about having cocaine in her bra when she was arrested. Due to these issues, they say they can no longer call Anna to testify or press charges for rape. But they maintain that the officers did arrest Anna that night. When they let her go less than half an hour later, Martin's semen was in her vagina and Hall's semen was in her mouth. The officers will now face charges of taking a bribe and official misconduct. How did you feel when you found out the charges had been dropped?
I broke down. My lawyer called me and I was screaming on the phone. It really fucked me up. I didn't think that, that they would seriously get in any serious trouble because cops get away with everything, but.
Why did they drop the charges?
Due to some inconsistencies that I said and my statements didn't match up, which I don't get how what color skirt matters if I said blue or black when you have a DNA kit, a rape kit that shows that I got violated. I don't know why it matters what I wore or what color my underwear was. They're trying to slut shame me, and they tried to do that from the beginning. I'm a female. I'm allowed to post whatever I want. It doesn't mean that they're spreading their legs because you find that the picture is sexy. Like,
have there been a lot of comments on your social media?
Yeah, for sure. People talk a lot of shit. When I went on vacation, I got at least 390 comments of how I wanted to get raped by the cops and how I asked for it and I'm a cop fucker. That's what I go through every single day. That shit, it hurts, you know, it hurts. I was doing a lot of drugs, just so I could just mentally just like shut myself out and not hear or keep like seeing this shit happen all over and over. Like it was like a loop in my head. I was so grossed out by myself for so long too, like for so long, because of these two men.
What are you doing for work now?
I'm a dancer now. I work in a club, a gentleman's club. Believe it or not, in a way, it's kind of therapeutical. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it helped me. Like, I got some of my confidence back. I feel better. Like, as a woman, I'm more comfortable with myself than I used to be.
Something I've been told is that when a police officer sexually assaults someone, they target their victims based because they know who might be unreliable. Do you think that's something that's happened to you?
Yeah, I definitely feel like they pick and choose who they go for. I think they thought I was probably like a little quiet girl, maybe that would commit suicide after they did that to me, honestly. But I know damn well that they were not expecting all that social media. I got violated, and I'm not keeping my mouth shut. They messed with the wrong girl. That's pretty much it.
Former NYPD officers Richard Hall and Eddie Martins declined our offer for an interview. In a statement, Eddie Martins' lawyer told us, the district attorney moved to dismiss all the rape charges after acknowledging that Anna repeatedly perjured herself and contradicted herself on numerous occasions. Richard Hall's lawyer told us, all the sex crimes against the officers were dismissed in March 2019. Both were wrongfully accused. They say they were confident they could show substantial inconsistencies in the evidence and were ready to go to trial to prove their innocence. Oakland Police, Chicago Police, and the New York Police Department did not respond to our request for comment.